Hey guys, Andrew, welcome back to another reaction and review. And I've had a lot of people already, several people telling me that this new video is out for me to check it out. It is the latest installment, the latest animation from Mystery Ben, Mystery Ben 27, and it is his latest installment in the Mystery Skulls animated series, and this one is Hellbent. And I'm very excited to check it out, so let's begin. I watched the original two animations right before this to get myself caught up, so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can with this video, so let us begin. As always, the link to the video will be below, as well as the link to the original first two videos. If you haven't watched them, watch those before you watch this one. So let's begin. Start the video. 3, 2, 1, click. You're worried. Aw, that's cute. The petals. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Lewis. There's green. No. Oh boy. There's. Oh boy. The truck. Did you pump the gas? He's controlling it. Is he gonna ram it? No, he wouldn't. Vivi's in there. Oh freak, that thing was beast. Okay. The heart. Oh yeah, baby! Oh gosh! She's out for the rest of the video, I imagine. Hey, it's her again. We've been tracking. Really? Dang. Oh, she actually got him. Oh, she's mad now. Crazy. Okay, we got 3 stories going on here. He's like, what did I hear? It was just a Mazda. I guess that's Arthur's dad. Neat. Okay, we've got 3 stories going on here. She's after mystery. Oh! What the? Oh, freak, she's mad. Dang! Yeah, you're gonna have to unleash the beast. Oh. Hey. Whoa. I see one ghost. This is the cave again, where Lewis died. Oh, he's gonna do the same thing to him. That it? That's it? Oh my gosh! Jeez, that was a quick 4 minutes! 5 minutes, man! Freak! Okay, so Busy Pop! Ah, that's cool! Okay, now, there's a lot to cover in this. Alright, first off, I want to say to Mystery Ben, thank you for another amazing animation. Thank you to everybody that contributed to working on this animation. Thank you to everybody for all the work and effort that you put into it. This is amazing. The amount of detail that is in this animation is extraordinary. It's just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's really amazing. The amount of detail for this, like, I can look at the original animation, at the first one, Ghost, and then look at this one, and I can see a step up in terms of detail, personally, and so yeah, it has really come a long way. So I really want to say to Mystery Ben, to everybody that worked on this animation, thank you all so much for all the work and effort that you put into it. Thank you for continuing with this series. It's a great series, and I am happy to consider myself a part of the Mystery Skulls fandom, so thank you. Now, there's a few things to go over with this animation. This animation picks up right from the last one, with them parked beside the road, with the Mystery Skulls van parked right beside the road, where it was before. Vivi is asleep in the back, and Arthur is working on the vehicle. And one of the things that we notice, of course, is whenever Arthur gets back inside, at first he's freaked out by Mystery, uncertain of really how to take him. Now, Mystery has an interesting story. Mystery is not actually a dog, he is actually a kitsune. And he, apparently that is, I'm not sure if Mystery, now obviously this other witch doctor, this other witch doctor, I'm assuming a witch doctor, Shiromori, is after Mystery. For some reason, she is after him. And although Mystery was able, now going back to the original animation, Mystery, I think, sensed, some speculated that maybe it was Mystery that had actually possessed Arthur to make him push Lewis over the ledge, but it was actually Mystery that was able to actually bite or rip Arthur's possessed arm off, and was able, he had to get the mechanical prosthetic arm attached, and Mystery was able to actually save Arthur from that, and possibly Vivi as well. But clearly, now here, Arthur is still harboring some mixed concerns about Mystery. He's uncertain because he remembers the past and about what had happened. And clearly, Mystery is concerned about the Shiromori coming after him. Now, this begs the question of how does Mystery know this woman? She's after him for some reason. She wants him dead. Now, there's a couple different theories you come up with. Maybe Mystery was once maybe her guardian, and he got tired, and he got sick and tired of the evil things that she was doing, so he decided, I'm done with this. And or maybe somehow he could have fought her at some point in the past. But Mystery is concerned. This pedal that he has here, he sensed from this pedal that it was her, and so he knows that he knows that she's back. And this is an interesting setup here because Arthur is concerned. He's not really sure how to go about it. He takes a deep breath, and he's uncertain of how to advance here. And he's very apprehensive, and so whenever he reaches a hand forth, he's shaking. He's uncertain, like, will Mystery bite my arm off again if I actually touch him? But he manages to do it, and it's a very cute little thing here. It's a very cute little scene where Mystery actually enjoys the attention. And this kind of releases a lot of the tension at this point. Arthur sees that Mystery is calm and tame and is not actually out to get him. And so it's at this point that he relaxes, and you can see a sense of solace and comfort on his face, a sense of relief, and possibly thinking to himself, everything's okay, things are going to be okay. The tension's gone, and he feels comfortable enough to actually be able to start the vehicle. And another thing that I want to point out, again with the attention to detail, is here the key switch in the vehicle. The key looks very similar to the regular black keys, and you can also see the column shift on the side of the steering wheel. So I really like how that they did that. And it's also interesting the keychain that they have, which is a wrench with a crown. And I'll see that as well later on. And as they drive away, we see the pedals. The wind blow the pedals, which is how Shiromori is tracking Ben. And we also get a really lovely nighttime shot. Again, the attention to detail for this is just awesome. And things have calmed down. Like, you don't know how long they've been driving for, but Ben is already conked out in the passenger seat. Vivi's sound asleep in the back. Arthur's driving. He's tired. He's sleepy. But he notices that something is going on with the radio. There's a magical essence around the radio, and he notices it. He takes notice of it and is wondering about it, but it's at this point that the vehicle begins to suffer malfunctions. The engine pretty much dies, or the engine begins to have a malfunction. The gauges begin to go all sporadic, and the vehicle begins to lose complete power. Then we see this very awesome flash of Lewis in the back. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you never look in the rearview mirror at night. You never do. Unless you know what car's behind you, you never look in the rearview mirror. Now, I gotta say, this particular moment, whenever Arthur looked behind him, that scene, all of this stuff right here, leading up to whenever the music began, it is very atmospheric. It is very atmospheric, and it really adds a very nice, dark, ominous presence in this. And it really looks great. It feels great. The atmospheric tension and build in this scene is just amazing. And honestly, I love how the music does not kick in right from the get-go. It takes a moment to build up the tension before things really take off. And I love what they did with this and how that they did it. This tension build where Arthur looks behind him, and at first he sees nothing behind him. But then on the horizon he sees, behind him, he sees the truck. Now, he doesn't know at the time about this truck, but he sees the purple flames and realizes, oh crap, this is bad. And so he tries to get the vehicle to start again, but the vehicle is not wanting to start. And Lewis is closing in, and the vehicle just completely comes to a complete stop. The detail for this truck as well looks really beast. The purple and the headlights have been changed to eyes, and the hearts on the truck. It really does look it really looks cool. And an interesting thing that happens here is whenever Arthur smacks the side panel of the inner door, the power somehow, some of Lewis's power, ghostly power, travels through his arm, almost like electrocution, and it goes limp for a moment. And so this is a very interesting moment here. Arthur's arm is like limp at first. He has no control in his arm. He starts moving it. Now he has no control in his arm. Mystery wakes up at this point. They see the truck behind them, knowing that they're royally effed. And this introduction scene with Lewis, where like the moonlight shines across his face, introducing the character. This is a really beautiful scene. This really does look great. Arthur manages to get the vehicle started and takes off, ultimately plastering Mystery into the seat. Vivi she starts to notice the truck behind them, but ultimately is knocked out by a metal baseball bat that falls down on her head, which is the same metal baseball bat that she uses later on. Now, Arthur is only driving with one hand at this point. He does not have both hands on the wheel, which leads me to believe that his left arm, it's in the seat right here, so I'm believing at this point he still has no power in his left arm. Now, his left arm is metal, of course, so there's a possibility there's no arteries or anything like that running through it, so there's a possibility that whenever he hit the dash panel, he hit the door panel, and it traveled through his arm, it could have caused some sort of, could have messed with the circuitry in the arm, thus causing him to lose power in it. And so he's not using it to drive the vehicle. He's only driving with one hand right now. Now, the truck itself, this truck is very interesting in the way that it's designed, because we finally get to actually see a really good shot of the truck. And I just noticed the license plate on the truck is the same title of the video, which is interesting. We see a triple smokestack coming out the side. We also see other designs on the side of the truck. These spikes, one could consider like them extra teeth or hands, possibly claws. And then there's also what looks like a mouth on the grill, and we see the eyes, which is a good representation of Lewis. There's something, a little consistency that I noticed throughout the video, is there's always seems to be one little ghost that is always bearing a sort of saddened expression. Now, the one in the back here, he's excited, like he's just draped like a dog or a cat over top of the back seat. He's having a blast. The other one over on the left appears to be more shocked. The one on the right seems concerned. And there's a possibility, a theory, that you could say that each of these three ghosts could represent a part of Lewis. The one on the back, on the seat, represents his desire, his excitement, his thrill in this particular moment, his desire to get revenge on Arthur. The one on the left kind of represents possibly shock or stun at different things that happens. The one on the right could be his sympathy. It could be what remains of his sanity, of his soul, that is showing concern. Now, an interesting thing as well is Arthur and Mystery think that the only concern that they have to worry about is this truck. And they don't know who this guy is. They just know he's chasing after them through a canyon scene. The petals fall, and we're reintroduced to Shiramori. And she manages to race ahead and find herself in front of the vehicle because she knows Mystery is there. This woman is bat crap insane here because there's a really lovely glow. I didn't get to see it the first time, but there's a really lovely glow with her eyes. And this woman is not human, obviously. She's not human because she can do things that a normal human cannot. But she's after Mystery. She's looking right at him. She manages to succeed in cracking the windshield. And as it breaks, she jabs it into the seat next to Mystery. We also see that she manages to she barely hits Mystery, as there is now a trickle of blood running down his cheek. And she's insane. Like, there's no pupils in her eyes at this point. She sees the blood. She wants to make more of Mystery's blood run. And she's insane. She's driven wild. And honestly, you could say the title of the video itself is a good representation to how driven mad that she is. She's heck bent on killing Mystery. Lewis is heck bent on getting revenge on Arthur because he believes Arthur killed him. So we also see the scene here. Lewis, he's holding the picture, and he knows that Vivi is in the vehicle. And so I wondered at first if he was going to ram it, but knowing that Vivi is in the vehicle, I knew he wouldn't do that. But he wants revenge. He wants revenge on Arthur because Lewis and Vivi were really close. And I don't know if Lewis thinks that Arthur killed him out of jealousy, that Arthur wanted Vivi to himself, or if he thinks that Arthur just was jealous of the attention, and so he wanted to eliminate the competition so it could just take control. And there's a couple different things that transpire very quickly here. Whenever Lewis manages to blow a tire on the vehicle, which causes Shiramori to go flying off. And the funny thing at this point is they run. Lewis runs over her. She falls on the road. Lewis runs over her, and that just expression like, "What did I hit?" I love that. I love that. Like even the ghosts are like, "What was that?" Oh well, whatever. It's all cool. And we see a junkyard, we see a junkyard and a garage, which is, I'm assuming, run by Arthur's father, because he looks similar. And here we see on the garage the same logo that was on Arthur's keychain, the crown over top of the wrench. And interestingly, Mystery climbs in the back of the vehicle before the impact. And I'm theorizing that there's a possibility that he could have climbed in the back to avoid the impact because he's a dog, he doesn't have a seatbelt on, he would have flown through the windshield, or he was actually doing it to try to protect Vivi. But, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure. I'm thinking the Mystery Skulls machine may be out of commission at this point, which is unfortunate. And again, this guy, he has a similar look to Arthur, so I'm just assuming that this is his father. And there's some really interesting shots here. Because whenever Lewis steps out of the vehicle, we see these shots that have a bit of an introduction. They show some of the things in the past. There's some interesting scenes here. The moment that Lewis steps out of the vehicle, the background scenes, we see them at this little restaurant, and Vivi is smiling brightly, waving to Lewis. We see Mystery looking at him, and Arthur is standing over to the side, kind of bored and looking, kind of like he's upset with him. And then we also see, whenever Shiramori, her hand comes out, we see Mystery in his true form. The kitsune, and we see the flower that he's looking at, a representation of Shiramori. So there's some interesting things going on here at this point. And again, Lewis comes up, and we can see how close that he and Vivi were. They were really close. They were a couple. And we see Arthur standing off to the side, upset. Now, I'm not certain at this point. There's a question of, is this in Lewis's mind, or was this real? Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to defend Arthur, but I'm wondering, has Lewis's time in death, in limbo, affected and twisted his memory and his mentality about the past? Is it that Arthur is really feeling left out here? He's not feeling like a part of the team, or maybe even could be jealous? Or is it that Lewis has believed this whole time that Arthur was the one who killed him, and so he thinks this is his own personal memory of Arthur? I'm not really certain. I'm not really sure, but it does leave the question of that. And there's another scene with Shiramori here as well. It shows her, and we see Mystery with his paw cut, and he's letting blood drip down onto the flower that is Shiramori, her flower. Now, there's a question that I have to. Now, there's a couple of questions, of course, that this brings up. Was it that Shiramori, was she already a living being before this? Was she already a living being before this? And this was just like her, not her resting place, but she was just more or less asleep at this point. And then Mystery used his blood to bring her to life as this in this human form. Did that happen, or was it that she was already at this point capable of transforming, but for some reason Mystery is letting his blood drip down onto the flower, which could represent the red petals, because she has red petals. Here they more look a combination of white and pink. Now they're more reddish. Could be a follow-up to Mystery's blood. And so the question is, why did Mystery do this? Why did he release some of his blood on her? And so we have three interconnecting stories here. We have the Mystery Skulls, Mystery, Arthur, and Vivi, who are trying to escape from this ghost. And then we have Lewis, who is wanting revenge, and Shiramori, who is wanting Mystery dead. Now, I still don't know why she wants him dead. This is, I think, now, this goes back to what I said before. Mystery quickly climbed in the back of the vehicle, and now he's pulling Vivi away from the van. He's pulling her, like, out of the van. And so Vivi was in the van. She didn't have a seatbelt on, so immediately Mystery jumped in the back of the vehicle. So this is an interesting kind of this is an interesting thing here, because here, Mystery has been really loyal to his friends. He ripped Arthur's arm off to prevent that spirit from possessing the rest of Arthur and from hurting Vivi. He did that to save Arthur and to save Vivi. And then he also, here he's pulling Vivi out from the wrecked van. He's making sure that she's okay. And whenever Arthur pet his head, he could have easily snapped at him, but no. So there's a reason. Maybe the possibility is that Mystery, and it's kind of, obviously he's a kitsune. One could theorize maybe he's been around for a long time, many years, maybe hundreds of years, possibly. But maybe he had a past life that he's not fond of. He did things in his past that he's not fond of, and so now he's taken on this new form, and he wants to make things right. He wants to try to make amends for the things that he did in his past life. Again, that's just a theory, but it does kind of fit. And so here's a really nice beast shot of Lewis standing beside of this truck. Here's a flashback scene to the cave, and the moment where Arthur pushed Lewis over the cave, and so over the ledge. And again, we see half of Arthur is split. His left half is getting possessed by this arm, and we're not seeing the right half of his face, but the right half of his face does look more concerned. But again, the title of the video really fits with how these characters, particularly Lewis and Shiramori, of them being heck bent to get revenge. And honestly, there are some really nice shots of these characters as they're walking up. And we see this other really nice scene. Okay, there's this other scene here with Shiramori, and we see the blue trees, I'm assuming a representation of her, and we see Mystery sitting on top of one, and we see the nine tails accurately depicted. We see the nine tails depicted here, and for some reason Mystery is just relaxing very calmly. But we also see an interesting shot of Vivi standing here with a blade, and it fades. So Vivi, I'm wondering if maybe she might be a part of a reincarnation or something here at this point. Lewis, there's the part of him here, and this is interesting because here he's already he's this is after he's died. We see the hole in his chest from where the rock went through his chest and went through his heart, and his heart's lying on the ground. And then there's other scene here with Vivi. I'm thinking Vivi and Mystery. And Mystery's cut in a similar place to where he was cut before. There's also blood on the ground. And at first I was wondering if maybe this was supposed to be Shiramori before. And this could have been the battle that she and Mystery had, and she lost, and now she's seeking revenge. But I'm thinking that it looks like Vivi. Of course, Mystery gets Vivi away. He sees Shiramori, and she tries to motion for him to follow her or come to her because she wants to kill him. And she's after Mystery, clearly. But the last moment, it's very quick, but Vivi grabs a baseball bat, the same one that bonked her on the head, and she hits this woman square on the left side of her face, causing her head to do a complete spin. It's at this point that she sees something that shocks her. It's like a blast from the past, and she sees Mystery, and she sees Vivi. And so this is interesting. She sees Vivi and thinks it to be the Vivi possibly from the past. So this right here is very curious. So I'm wondering, at some point here, I don't know, it looks like they fought from the past two screens, like this past version of Vivi possibly, and Mystery fought. And Shiramori is actually freaked out by this, because this is like a blast from the past, but it's really just Vivi in present day with a baseball bat, realizing that she's face to face with a ghost or something, or that she just beamed somebody in their head. Mystery kind of has a funny look, like, are you going to finish the job? And so this is another interesting thing that I'm curious about. Shiramori looks at Mystery, and Mystery just gives a shrug. I'm wondering if he's still trying to feign ignorance, that he's not who she's after. He's trying to play innocent, that he has no idea who she's referring to, or if he's trying to keep from resorting back to his old form. I'm not sure. Like, this is a very interesting thing. And so Shiramori she enlarges her blade, her scissors, and she begins to try to fight Vivi. And I'm still wondering about the past shots that we saw here. And again, Shiramori, she's heck bent, and she manages to knock the bat away. She does have a Japanese or Chinese logo on the handle. And Mystery realizes that everybody's in trouble. And I'm wondering here, because he realizes that everybody's in trouble. You see a flash to his old form, then he has a look that kind of says, I don't want to become this, in a way, or I'm not certain if maybe maybe Mystery uses that form just whenever only 100% necessary to protect others whenever there's no other option. Or if he's afraid to go back into that form, because it looks like he's having a lot of restraint to try to possibly keep from resorting back to that form. Maybe he's afraid to go back in that form, afraid of what it could mean for him. By this point, of course, Lewis has already captured Arthur and hurls him in the back of this rig, the same cave that we saw before. And again, we see four of the ghosts are working with Lewis, and they're excited. One's just kind of smiling, like, hey, what's up? I'm just a ghost. And we see this one little concerned ghost over on the side. Again, he's looking concerned. He's not he's concerned, and so I'm wondering if this is like if he's actually feeling sorry for him. And the interesting thing is, of course, we get back. It's a representation. It's a recreation of the same cave, and Arthur goes straight to, remembering what had happened before. Arthur goes straight for the other way of the cave that went below. He goes straight for the other way to the cave, possibly remembering that it went to the ground, and the ghosts blocked him from going in that direction. So he had to turn and run through the other way, which is the same way that he went before. So Lewis was leading him down the same path. He realizes that he's been led to the same location, the exact same location where Lewis died. Only it's not the same location. It's a recreation of it. And then Lewis, seeking his revenge, he's still holding Arthur over top of this chasm, over top of this ledge, ready to drop him. Arthur manages to get control of his arm, and whenever he grabs the hand that is holding him, I don't know if Lewis showed his human form here to show Arthur, this is me, this is who is going to kill you, I'm getting my revenge, or if it did it the moment that Arthur touched Lewis's arm. But Arthur says his name, realizes it's Lewis. Lewis drops him and he falls. We see a shot of 5 different things that's going on here at once. And Lewis, who has just realized that he just dropped Arthur to his death. And we see what looks like a look of concern on Lewis. And you also notice his heart is no longer yellow. It's black and broken. It's black and broken. It could be, which could be a good representation of him in general right now. Arthur is falling to his death, and there's a couple different things that's going through his mind, possibly. A few different things that's probably going through his mind at this point, which is, number one, he's falling to his death. This is it. It's done. It's over. Number two, I just got murdered by possibly a friend, if he considered Lewis a friend. I just got murdered by him. He just managed to get revenge. He just killed me. And then Shiramori, she's about to get revenge. She's about to stab Vivi, who right now is lying on the ground. And then finally we have Mystery, who is ready to, looks like he's finally in his Kitsune form and is ready to attack Shiramori and fight her. Now, of course, we can't also leave out of the equation the fact that Arthur's dad is in the garage nearby with a shotgun. So there's a possibility he could be the one that ends up taking the shot to save Vivi, thus preventing Mystery from having to use his form. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the next animation, because this is definitely a really big cliffhanger here, and I'm really curious as to what's going to happen. And an interesting gimmick with the overall logo here is we see the rocks, which could be a reference to the cave system, to the cave that we saw. We see an eye on the R. We see, well, it's not blood dripping down, of course. We see petals, and we see the foxtails. So, very nice logo that represents everything that we've seen so far. And good, really good. And something else to point out, something else to point out at the end is we hear a gunshot, and there's a single bullet hole put right through the Mystery Skulls logo here, and it goes black. It goes black. And then we hear the echo ring out. So I'm wondering if obviously that was Arthur's dad, I'm assuming. So of course Mystery. So of course music Hellbent and Every Note by Mystery Skulls featuring Snowblood. Director, lead animator Ben Magnum. Art lead background artist Crescent Rhodes. Layout assist Jordan Lasco. Special effects Patrick Rantala, Andrew Stadler, and animatic, Isaiah Kim. Sound design, Strelok. Animation, Anthony and Philip. Special thanks to these individuals here as well. Amy Sanders, Blake. Special thanks to these individuals as well. Amy Sanders, Saunders, Blake Hudson, James Workman, Joanna Lambert, Justin Pools, Melissa Denton, Poison Hearts, and Busy Pop. Also, the website, support Mystery Skulls at mysteryskulls.bandcamp.com. So, yeah, very beautiful animation and a lot of stuff going on in it. Very great animation, a lot of stuff going on in it. But yeah, at the end of the video, we hear the gunshot. So that was obviously Arthur's dad that took the shot. So I'm definitely going to assume he took the shot at Shiramori, because, and it's an interesting thing because at the end of it, like I said, at the end of the video, we see Lewis having just dropped Arthur. Arthur is falling to his death, and Lewis actually seems to have a look of concern about him. Like, what have I done? He was so driven by revenge that now he actually saw it through to the end, and now he's actually looking back and thinking, I mean, it's at that moment that he realized, what have I done? It looks like that's what he's thinking. Additionally, we see the blackened and broken heart, which is a good representation of Lewis at this point, and pretty much throughout the whole thing. Like, his heart has been blackened by revenge, and it's broken. And so now it's showing. And so then it shows the logo, the Mystery Skulls logo, and then we hear the gunshot. And the screen goes black, the logo goes black, it goes dark, it's just completely dark, and you hear the echo of the gunshot. So that's, I think, a really good lead up to what we may see in the next animation. I'm assuming that Arthur's dad just took the shot on Shiramori, either blew her back, didn't kill her. I don't know how you can, but just blew her back, or blew the giant scissors out of her hand. And so now that leaves him. He just say Vivi, and Mystery possibly is free of being able to having to go into that form, possibly. But there's still the one thing that I'm still uncertain of is there was a few different scenes here that showed like an other version of Vivi, with showing her facing off against Mystery and showing them fighting. So, but it also showed Mystery bleeding on that flower. So there's a few theories to that. The other incarnation, the other version of Vivi and Mystery fought, but Vivi actually lost. Mystery was able to actually kill her, and thus he used the blood that was dripping from his paw on the flower. That's one theory. Another theory is maybe they had to fight. Maybe Vivi wanted Mystery as a guardian or a companion or something, but she had to fight him to prove her worth, to prove that she was worthy to have him as a companion or a guardian. So they fought, and she may have actually won. And so that's a representation to the scene of Mystery standing behind her as she's standing there with the blade in hand, ready to attack. But Mystery does seem concerned about Shiramori being there. He's really concerned, and it appears he's afraid to go back into his Kitsune form. So there's still some mystery skulls, that we still don't know the answers to. At least I don't know the answers to. But I'm definitely welcome to any theories and thoughts that people have. But again, major thanks to Mystery Ben, and to everybody that worked on this animation. Thank you all so much for all the work and effort that you put into this. This thing is stupendous. It's magnificent. The amount of detail is just extraordinary, and the build-up, every single scene is just magnificently done. The animation, the background visuals, the character designs, every single moment of the character's movements, head bobbing, and the background flashes that we see. Everything is just beautiful. It's extraordinarily done. There's so much detail to this. It definitely takes more than one watch to be able to capture every single bit of detail. Before I did my overall review, I went through this a second time to make sure that to try to capture all the extra details that I didn't capture the first time around. So I hope I covered everything, and I sincerely apologize if I missed anything at all. But again, major thanks to Mystery Ben and everybody that worked on this. That's overall started. Thank you for starting the Mystery Skulls fandom. Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody that worked on this animation, everybody that contributed to help make it possible. Thank you all so much. I'm looking very forward to I'm looking really forward to the next one to see where it goes. So again, Mystery Ben, everybody that worked on this, thank you all so much. Thank you for all the hard work and effort that you put into it. Major kudos, major props to you guys. It was really worth it to see the final product, and so thank you. And I hope I covered everything that there was to cover in this video. I sincerely apologize if I missed anything at all. Again, thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you enjoyed. And again, thank you to everybody that made this animation. Thank you all so much. Thank you to everybody that watched. Hope you guys enjoyed. And any thoughts and theories you also want to share in the comments, please feel free. I'd like to read them. So again, thank you guys again for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video that I do. Take care.